Hello survivors and welcome to Rimworld here on the channel. New series we're going to be starting up. Older game that we haven't played in a really long time. If you're not familiar with Rimworld, I've played it on the channel before. It's been quite some time. There have been a tremendous amount of updates. I started playing this game way back when it was alpha. As a matter of fact, I backed it in Kickstarter and have been playing it since way back then, to be completely honest. It is a sci-fi colony sim driven by an intelligent storyteller. It's inspired by Dwarf Fortress and Firefly and Dune, kind of all those things combined. You have a different couple of ways of starting the game up. There's a whole bunch of scenarios that you can kind of use. I have some mods running, that's why that popped up. You have some scenarios that you can choose here. You can create your own scenarios if you wanted to, and edit them. We're going to decide something just generic and basic here because it's been so long and there's so many new updates to the game since I've played that I just want to kind of get back into it. I played for about an hour just to kind of get the controls down and get acclimated back to the game. It's really an amazing game, but we're going to use this basic scenario here. We'll talk about things that are get a little bit deeper and some of the mods and stuff like that that you can use for the game. There's a tremendous modding community for this game, and they're super easy to kind of subscribe to and bring into the game, and we'll get into that and to other stuff. It's going to be a short video, just kind of quick, get it set up, gameplay type of deal, and see how we do. And if it sticks and you guys are liking it, leave a like for the video, leave some comments, and we'll continue it on the channel. We're going to do it crash landed here, so it's the three of you awaking your crypto sleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on this unknown rim world. So now you get to start with 3 people. You can choose from 8. It kind of gives you like this choice generator. And then these are the things that you start with. There's a whole bunch of things here. There's some weapons in there and some wood and some steel to kind of get your building basics. And there's things scattered all over the map as well. You kind of have to get a farm going and down for animals to feed yourself so that you don't starve to death and things like that. There's storytellers here. There's 3 of them. There's Cassandra Classic. There's Phoebe Chillax, and then Randy Random. I played most of my time on Randy Random. It's about 400 or 500 hours into this game. I played most of it into Randy Random. We're going to do Cassandra Classic because it can be a little bit interesting, but we're going to do Strive to Survive, so it's kind of set in the middle there, and we're definitely not going to do any permadeath stuff here at all, so we're not going to just kind of... I don't want to play it that way. I just want to chill and play and make it a little bit difficult. We're going to use a simple seed that I've always used, and I think it still works, and it should be okay. Got next, and I'm going to leave all of this stuff normal. We're going to generate. We do not have royalty installed. There's a DLC for it that you can go get, but I do not have that. All right, so this is your map. This is your world. You go in here, and you can kind of pick where you're going to land. We're going to make this WASD to move around. Kind of forgot about that. We're going to pick something near a river with some hills. Here's mountainous. Might be too many mountains. That might be too many mountains. These are all very mountainous. There's the small river with some small hills. It's got decent temperature range, 18 Fahrenheit to 75 Fahrenheit. I think we'll go with this one again. We're just trying to keep it as basic as possible just to get back into the game and kind of play around with what's new. This is where it gets interesting. You kind of have your characters that you're going to pick from here. You can look at their ages and stuff like that. You want to watch for the older folks because clearly they're going to be a lot harder to work with. This one here is incapable intellectual, which means they can't do research. They do have some traits where they're steadfast and they're night owls. There's some good traits and some bad traits. You kind of have to look at that. You want to take a look at their skill tree as well to make sure that they're able to do stuff, and always check their health conditions. While you want some challenge and stuff like that, some of them could be super annoying, and you want to kind of try to, if you're playing it just to be chill, or you want to kind of watch out for that stuff. But if you want to be hardcore, you can go for like the worst of them, and it just makes it that much harder to play. This one here has decent skills, no shooting or melee, so it's going to be hard to fight. The mining and cooking skills and construction skills are pretty low, but they're good on this end of things, where they got good social too, so... they can be good in trading and stuff like that, and cheering up the rest of the group. A little bit older, and you can see kind of their backstory. Cult child and a corporate manager, and they give you like a little bit of the backstory when you hover over it as well. Jesse was a mafia boss and a shop kid, and has a super passion for building. This is double fire, means It's a strong passion as well as artistic. They have intellectual and social, no medical, no cooking. Very low on the spectrum for shooting and melee. And then we have Mo, again, no shooting, no melee. Gets a little rough here. You want to watch out for the dumb labor stuff. That annoys the crap out of me. It's one of those they have to be able to haul. If I bring in people, if like people join later on, like colonists come from and they join, they don't do hauling, it's one thing. But I need to start with haulers because they need to move stuff around. Crafting and cooking, they can't do that. It gets a little bit crazy there if we don't have that. So we may swap them out. We'll take a look at what we have here. This one here, Pew, you gotta watch out for them because it's like capable of pretty much nothing. This is pretty much a burden on your society. All they could do is fight melee, and they can talk to people, and they have a passion to like for art. Doesn't give you much, like all this other basic stuff, like planting and harvesting and mining and cooking. It's like all construction's all gone. Can't do any of it. No skilled labor, no hauling. Just absolutely useless. And there's not somebody who I'd want if I'm playing this like on a normal like let's keep it casual type of deal, right? This one here has health issues. That's where you want to watch out for some of that stuff. Asthma and stuff like that can be hurtful. All right, so we have one here that we're looking at. It looks like I found Allison. She can shoot, which is really appealing to me. I want somebody who has at least somewhat of a hunting skill so they can go do some battle for us and then go hunting as well. Shooting capability is kind of important. She's neurotic and she's ascetic. It's kind of weird in that combination there, but she's also kind too. So ascetic means that she doesn't really need any fancy things, which is pretty good. So she's like this pure, simple life, She's a little neurotic though, which is going to hurt for when she has like a mental breakdown, which comes into play. And then she's super kind, which means that she doesn't judge anybody. She'll get along with pretty much anybody in the colony. I was ganging between Sparrow and Allison the housewife. I think we're going to do Allison though. And move her in there, and we'll stick with these here. You can sit here and kind of click around all day long if you want to. It's really not gonna make much of a difference, though. I mean, you're gonna have to work at it anyway, no matter how you look at it. So this is the part of the scenario where we saw in the beginning, where they talked about the crypto sleep sarcophagi and the sounds of siren ripping things and blah blah blah. And pieces of the shredded starship fall around you. You start making plans to survive. Click this, hit OK. We're going to land. We're landing right near that river that I wanted, that small little river. That's going to come in handy down the road when we want to. We'll pause here for a second just to take a quick look around the map to see where we're going to kind of set ourselves up. I think where we landed is pretty much where we're going to be honest with you, because we can do something with this little area here. And then we'll have this running river for electricity later on, which will be very helpful. This is intriguing too through here into this big lake area where you have kind of like the water as a natural defense and the little hills behind you as a natural defense, but I don't know if that's getting a little too out there. We can definitely work with something like this. I'd like to be able to dig into the mountainside a little bit, but then we're getting too far away to kind of haul stuff. We have all of our stuff right here to haul, so we're going to take a look at what I keep forgetting that we can't drag. We have to kind of WASD our way around. So we paused, and we're going to go sit ourselves up with a stockpile. Start things off right away with a stockpile. We will do it there. And we'll unpause, and we'll let them do their things. We'll go to double speed. We're going to unforbid stuff so that they're able to actually grab it and bring it back to the stockpile. And then we'll sort everything out a little later on. The wood is super scattered around here. Hopefully that's gonna be okay. Jeez, we kind of need that stuff. It's important. All right, so we got some compacted steel here that we can mine out. I didn't even look at the mining skill of any of my people at the same time I was doing this, so that's interesting too, to say the least. Let's see who has got the shooting skill again. Who was it? Oh man, I thought I switched Sparrow out. Damn it. I wanted the shooter. She's gonna have to be our shooter. Jesse, you're gonna shoot. You get the bolt out action rifle. She's a 1 and she's a 0. So let's get where's the revolver? her get the revolver. And they'll pick up the rest of that stuff. We should get a farm going right away. This looks like it's mud. Some rich soil, but a lot of mud here, so that's not going to be good for growing anything. Here is all rich soil, so we can definitely grow something in here. We may want to consider moving up into this area, actually, at some point. That might be a better bet in here. I think we'll start working on that now, actually. This was a nice little field going to plant, and we're going to get ourselves a stockpile, a dumping stockpile. We'll put that there, and then we're going to get rid of that stockpile, and we're going to move it up a little bit to over here. We got some rain coming down too, so let's get them to work. They're going to have to pick some stuff up now, and they're going to have to work on doing some farming and everything else, and we'll see how far we get. We're going to have to build a structure. We could use this, but it's kind of beaten up a little bit. All right, so we're going to queue up some jobs here. We're going to have them chop down trees throughout this area, whichever ones will be chopped down. And then we seriously got to consider building our first structure. Something simple, just something indoors that they can all kind of get into until we are ready to build something a little bit more formal. It's not the most symmetrical thing in the world, but we want them inside is what we want. Alright, so I placed some sleeping spots. They are sleeping through the night here in the outdoors in the pouring rain. They will not be happy for very long if we keep this up. Alright, so they're up, they're moving around. They're going to start hopefully moving this stockpile and the wood that we have as well. Start doing stuff. We'll put them at speed 2 to kind of let them do their thing. But now we're going to take a look at the work schedule. So we can kind of see here who's good at what. The red means that they have like 0 skill in something or are very low. They're our only doctor though, so we don't have any help here doctor-wise. It's going to be rough going for that kind of stuff, but like here we have a super passion for art, and they should probably have that checked off, and we'll take somebody else off. Even though the other ones are pretty high and they do have a small passion for it. We only have one researcher and they're a level 6, so it's normal there. Here we have a passion for construction, even though they're super low. They want to learn, and they'll learn much faster because of that burning passion, as they call it. Looks like Sparrow here, the oaf, has a lot more work than a lot of these others do. Kind of a lot on their plate there. The other ones have 0 skill in growing anything. We have a miner as well. We're gonna have to get 2 miners, I think. And yeah, we're got problems here. Oaf is gonna be doing pretty much everything useful anyway to start with. This is where you got to be careful, and it's kind of where you can kind of screw yourself up if you're not super careful with these things. We definitely have a walled-in area here. We got to be careful when we're drilling out or mining out of this the side of this, because we're going to run into something somewhere along the way, and we just want to be careful with that. So we'll start with a small little area there, and that'll be where we're going to go into the mountainside, and we'll probably bring it down this way to keep away from that area there and whatever's in there. I'm sure there's some mechs in there or whatever else, and it's not going to be pretty. And then we'll do something like this here to kind of get them into the groove of that. All right, so we got a decent amount of wood here right now. About 500. That's not bad. Got to cutting down all those trees. Looks like they found their wood. And what happened here? Did I do that? I guess I did. I mean, you don't technically have to fill that in. It kind of keeps it closed no matter what. But it kind of is nice to do. There's a turtle trapped in our humble home. We got the plants going here. We should have probably switched that to rice instead of potatoes, but they'll grow fairly quickly. There we go. Potato plants. They take 5.8 days. Yeah, the rice takes like 3 days to grow. Rice would have been definitely a much better choice. It would have grown a lot quicker. But it's got a limited lifespan on that. I think potatoes last a little bit longer, if I'm not mistaken. Man, they got a limited lifespan as well. 46 days. This is 24 days. So the potatoes will last longer. You get a little bit more out of the yield as well. So not a bad deal. It takes longer to grow, but you get more and they last longer. This is the part where I get to kind of plan some stuff out, and I get to have a little fun. We're gonna make this like kind of like a refrigerated area where eventually we'll put all of our food stores in there with a cooler to keep it frozen, and this way it will never perish at any point. Which what we're looking for essentially. That's the kind of way you want to go with that. And typically I put that towards there, and then we'll put like a little bit of a kitchen facility area here that connects to that, and that's not symmetrical, and it's gonna drive me bonkers. All right, so we got a nice little layout going here. We're gonna figure this out in this area here. What we're gonna do with that? We'll probably just bring it all the way up like we had it. I took some of it out just to see what it looked like, because I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But I don't think we're gonna have much of a choice. We're gonna have to kind of use this whole area, really. Unless we mine all this out and kind of make a wall, which we can do too. Something to consider as we move along, but I kind of, in middle area, so this is going to be like my kitchen, butcher area, and this, where we're prepping our food. It's going to be a storage area where we kind of store it. It will mine all of this out as well and make it just flat. And then we got some bedrooms here going as well, so they can get inside and get into proper rooms of their own. Right now they're sleeping in here, and eventually we'll probably make that like the indoor stockpile for all of this stuff and expand it out a little bit further as well. And it kind of gives us a little bit of a defense as well, as we have some sort of walled off area kind of blocking us, and we have this little natural defense area as well, where we can kind of, when we're getting raided by outside pirates and factions, we'll be able to kind of like have some places of cover to kind of hide behind when they're coming at us. So, and then we got plenty of steel over here to work with. We can start working with steel. But this is kind of like what we're looking at here. This game can be very addicting. You can definitely get into it and lose yourself in it drastically. But we want to keep this one short, just kind of get a little bit of an intro going on it and see how we do. We got a nice little start going. We kind of have a plan about what we want to do. We have our farm laid out, and we're going to get things rolling. And hopefully it stops raining at some point, because rain is just dreary. You know, what are you going to do? But anyway, thank you for stopping by and checking it out. Leave a like if you want to see more of these. I may do a couple of them just to see how they roll, and if it gets popular and takes off, then we'll keep them going. But a little something different for the channel, a little bit of a break from 7 Days to Die. I'm still doing those, and absolutely love that game. But just a little something to put up for the time being, to kind of quell the space between those and keep it a little more interesting. Thank you again. I'll see you around. Bye bye now.